Welcome to Mindboost Moments, a podcast for those who want to hear from like-minded people and how they're making a dent in the world. So join me on my continued journey of learning and discovery. Today I'm joined by Katie Finch, who's the founder of Goldfinch, where she coaches executives and business leaders. We started our conversation about how we lean into our human skills and how we have more spontaneous and playful conversations, especially in an increasingly digital world. We discussed how Katie gets excited about new things and the opportunity to change and adapt, and the enthusiasm for an aha moment. This is Mindboost Moments. Is there a trend on what sort of changes leaders want to see or happen? I mean, I don't want to get really personal into some of your clients. I'm just thinking, is there a generalistic trend at the minute?
I think everyone's quite individual and it depends what's important to them. So sometimes it's about behaviors that they want to be more aware of and adapt, or it might be things with their teams, and that's probably been around for a long time. How do they get their teams to perform better or work more effectively together? I get quite a bit of that.
But the stuff that you're looking after, individual people that want to make individual changes to themselves rather than organizational change. Is that fair, or is that both?
I do both. So I work with individuals, but then I also work with teams in businesses where either they want to help the team work more effectively together, or they've got a growth strategy and they want to talk about what do we hold on to and protect, but what do we also need to change to adapt for the future demands of the business. So that kind of change I do quite a bit of.
Cool.
Where you're getting people to think about, well, what's really important to keep, but what actually do we now need to let go of or do differently or do more of to step up to the change of the business needs.
I think I love talking about, the culture of the business and how, what's the feeling in the business and how that's, when you say, what do we need to leave behind and what do we need to create? Wouldn't it be lovely when businesses go, we just want an amazing culture, or we've got a fab culture. We don't want to leave that behind, but we want to, just grow other stuff around that.
Yeah, I do get that quite a lot, where people will talk about what's, you're going to come onto this, but what are their strengths as a team? What are they really good at? And therefore, how do we hold on to that and do more of that as well?
Yeah. And I think, we've just been chatting about, just having random conversations, and now most things are just quite transactional. But so last week I spent a couple of days at the LPI's Learning Live event. So that's Learning Performance Institute. And there was a great speaker called Zach Cass there, actually. So he formerly used to work at OpenAI, but part of his talk was all about, we need to lean into the things that AI is not very good at. And the things that they are basically what makes us human. So that human connection, empathy, adaptability, really engaging with people and being curious, because at the minute that's not what AI is good at. But based on our conversation, that almost feels like, it's something that I better do then, in terms of I better have a chat with someone maybe, or I just got a transactional conversation I need to have.
Yeah, we were saying that I think since more people are working from home as well, you don't have that spontaneous just chat as much, because generally your diary is quite full, and when you contact someone it's because you've got a topic to talk about or a thing to do or cover. So I think you lose a little bit of that informal, let's just ring and have a catch up.
Yeah, the coffee machine moments.
Yeah, or even building it in. I've been looking at how do I build it into programs. So when you're doing a program, it's quite structured, and if we're doing virtual programs and you put people in breakout rooms, they're covering a topic.
Yeah.
And so they don't get that same personal connection that they might do over coffee breaks in a training room. So I'm now thinking about, how do you do more of that virtually so people can just chat?
Because if you said, some of it is just the language, isn't it? Because if you said, we're going to go into a breakout room, as soon as you say that, people expect an agenda. But if you said, we're just going to have a coffee moment, a coffee break, I'm going to leave this room open. If you want to chat, so be it. So some of it is just about the language that we've connected to go, that room equals formal.
Yeah.
That word.
Yeah, I agree. It's about kind of creating a more relaxed space for people, especially when you're connecting. Quite often it's different countries I'm working with, so connecting people that don't know each other and are covering a topic that they've got to give me an answer on. And actually, I think sometimes they'd benefit from just sharing what's going on in their world. So I'm actively looking at how do we create more space for that
and if you come up with anything
situation. Well, I think it is, like you said, it's added in time. And I've been on webinars where they do that, where they you can go in a room just to relax or to carry on the conversation. They literally get you to select. You either want to carry on the conversation or you want to chill and relax or do something else. And it sort of creates a space for you to do something a bit different than just follow a topic.
Yeah. I'm just thinking as well, there must be a technical solution to that as well, because generally you get, a breakout room. And even if you just said, I'm going to change the language of it to say it's a coffee break, the way that the technology works at the minute, everyone's trying to talk at one go. So what you then end up finding is the noisy people just take over and the quiet people sit back, and it's counterproductive to what you actually want to achieve. Whereas in reality, you have multiple conversations. I always remember the coffee places in the corporate offices, and you had tables around them, and people would just gravitate towards the person that they sort of went, I've been sitting next to you, so I'll move over here. The noisy ones can stay over there. So there's multiple conversations going on. And I think that's sort of the beauty, isn't it? So how do you replicate that, I suppose, in a digital space, is just multiple coffee spaces where nobody feels alienated.
I like it. Yeah, I definitely think there's room to do more than we do currently. In a more informal, relaxed way than the structured learning.
It just seems a shame to me that we've got to this point where we go, I better have a chat. It's just have the chat, just pick up the phone, have a conversation. You get so much out, you get so much conversation and so many different ideas. Actually, those coffee moments are so good for networking and just getting, the grey matter going, because you go, I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, I like that. I do more of that now in the job I do now, just connecting with people and having a catch up. It doesn't lead to anything from a work point of view immediately, but it's more about just connecting with different people. So I do probably do more of that now than I did in my big corporate role where I was running from one meeting to the next.
Yeah. I've got to be busy. I've got to fill my diary up. Sorry, I've got no time for you because my diary is full up. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's funny when you think back to it, but that's easy to lose, that sort of human element, really, isn't it? Like, that's what makes us. It's like the ability just to talk rubbish.
And we can do that.
Yeah, well, it's true, isn't it? And that's what I say about. So what is AI not very good at? Well, it's not very good at being illogical. Well, that's what makes humans, because we're illogical, irrational. We go off gut reaction. Even around those coffee moments, you go, no, I think I'll stay here with my chat because I'm not sure I like that crowd. But that's not based on anything. That's just a gut reaction.
And that might be a bit harder virtually, where you have to actively leave a room.
Yeah, I'm just going to back out. It always reminds me of that Homer Simpson episode where he falls into the bush. No one will notice. Yeah, that's really. I'll tell you what I do make a point of doing. Like every month, I'll just send out some emails to go, do you fancy a catch up? Like that's all the message said. Should we have a catch up? Half an hour catch up. No, and by now, the first time, some people go, yeah, what's that for? Okay, I just want to chat. But now people have got into the rhythm of going, you sent an email around. What I was really hoping for, maybe this says more about me than the people that I speak to. I was really hoping for that to be quite infectious and then go, that's a good idea. I'll just do the same. It's not really happened.
People aren't asking you for a catch up in the same way. Okay, I'll make a point of that.
Yes. Yeah, I must make a note of that. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Excuse me. I knew this would be the cold version. Dear. So I asked you a couple of questions before you came on the poddy. And the first one was, what excites you and makes you fizz with energy?
Yes, you did. Thank you. I did
Thank
have a
you.
little think about it. And I've probably got a personal answer and a worky answer, and I
Yeah.
think they're actually quite similar. So what would you like?
No, I'm not
You want
fussed.
them both?
It's up to you.
I'll give you them both then. So I think it's around discovery of new things and wonder.
Mm.
So from a personal note, I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I get a real, I'll call it buzz probably rather than fizz, but I get a real buzz from seeing her discover new things. So she's just started a climbing club, and she's very good at it. And just discovering what she can do and the look on her face when she achieves something that she's
Yeah.
not done before that looked quite daunting. Or her instructor said, how old are you? In 8 years, you could be at the Olympics. And her face, that kind of
Yeah.
moment of kind of wonder and awe of, wow, like that really gives me a buzz. So seeing that discovery of new things. And it's probably similar with work. So as I mentioned before, I coach leaders and businesses, and we're often so busy running from one meeting to the next, you don't have time to step back and think. And
Yeah.
so what I give them is time to think and get some clarity. And we talk about in coaching that aha moment. So where someone's thought of something different that they haven't considered before. And it's in them. It's not me telling them what to do, but they've just not had time to step back and think about it clearly or be listened to clearly without an agenda. And so I think it is that discovery of new things, either
Yeah.
thoughts or active things as well. And that gives me what I would call a buzz,
And
energizes me.
so when was the last time that you had an aha moment?
Me
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
gosh, that's a question, isn't it? Oh, what do we do? Probably, I have a friend who I speak to on a regular basis from a business development perspective. So when you run your own business, it can be a bit lonely. You're not reporting to a boss about what
Yeah.
you've done or what your
Yeah.
sales look like or any of those things. And sometimes I have chats with her. We chat kind of regularly, and I chat with her about what's going on in my business. And sometimes just that is helpful to go, yeah, actually, all I need to do is speak to a few more people.
Yeah.
To gain new coaching clients. It's just it works. And sometimes the simple things work well. So just stepping back and thinking about what you need to do and saying it out loud
Yeah.
can really help you go, yeah, this is what I need to do next.
And I think
So
bouncing the ideas off of
yeah,
the people, as you said. So, because if you live in this bubble where you have the ideas, you either think you're going mad or you think you're the only person with the ideas. And as soon as you start vocalizing that, other people go, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, do it.
yeah,
Or, sometimes you just need a boost of energy to go, yeah, right. I'm on it then. And
yeah,
it's, especially, when you talk through things like that, or you even write them down, then you make sure that they start happening, don't they? Whereas if
yeah.
you only have the thought in your head, it's just like, oh, I'll have another thought in a little while so I can park that one.
And I think that's a distinction with coaching. It's not just a chat. It's a chat, hopefully, with some kind of action or thought process or change at the end of it. And I
Yeah.
always say that it's not just a friendly chat.
Yeah.
It's about doing a bit more than that. So
Yeah.
I guess that's what we do for each other is you articulate it and then it becomes more of a reality because
Yeah.
you've said it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. What
Uh,
about you? Have you had aha moments recently?
Oh my God. Yeah. Now you've putting me on the spot as well. Aha moment. I think I did have an aha moment about a similar thing. Like I always talk about, I was part of Strategic Coach for a little while, and Dan Sullivan talks about living in the game, not the gap. And so human behavior is more about thinking about the things that you haven't achieved. There's an immediate
Mm,
thought in the human psyche to go, I haven't done this, I haven't got there, and be quite negative. And I always try and look on the gain, what we've done. And sometimes you've really got to sit back and go, yeah, we did really, really well to do that. And so I think my aha moment is, so our background is, we met at Compass Group many years ago. And then actually just recently, we're working with Compass Group again. And, for us, that's quite significant because it's a big, it's a FTSE 100 company. We're delivering some outstanding stuff. And it'd be really easy to go blasé and say, well, we're just doing what we do. But actually, that's quite significant. And so I think that was an aha moment to go, yeah, actually, we should be really proud of this.
That's great. Yeah, we don't always celebrate so much, do we? Because we just move on to the next thing on
I,
the list.
I think there's something about the humility of the British culture as well, is to go, yeah, you know, it's what we do, rather than go, this is amazing, you know. So I think that's, you know, I've always been quite humble in the stuff that we achieve. We're really proud of the capability that the stuff that we can do, but you know, some things you just go, oh, that's good, isn't it? If I was a different mindset, I'd be shouting from the roofs. But, you know, I just think that's something to do with, as I say, our British culture of going,
Yeah, I think it's easier to celebrate what other people are doing than
yes,
yourself. So if
yes,
I told you I'd done that,
yeah,
you'd be, wow, that's
yeah,
amazing, that's brilliant. But when you have to say yourself
yeah,
something that you're proud of,
yeah.
it is harder.
It is hard, yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I'd had some coaching sessions as well, and that was the real sticking point because I spoke about we an awful lot, and
mm,
you know, and Ashlyn said, "Stop saying we. What about I? What about you?" And it's like I clammed up. I couldn't. I
yeah,
sort of couldn't articulate it really.
yeah, yeah. I think it's bashed out of us at a young age to
Maybe,
not be overconfident and not be
yeah.
too showy about things. So then we don't do it.
Well, that comes back to another question I had about, you know, you seeing the achievements of your daughter and those aha moments. And I was just sort of going to think, when do all the inhibitions start kicking in from humans to go, I can't do that. As a
Mm,
child, everything is possible. And everything that an adult is geared up to do is to encourage children to go, anything is possible. You can do anything you want. And yet somewhere along that journey, we go, I can't do that.
I don't know when that happens. It hasn't happened yet. So my daughter still believes she can do anything. And
Good.
again, with the climbing example, the instructor said, you know, you can't say can't. When she said, I can't find where to go, no,
Yeah.
can't doesn't exist. It's a possibility you haven't yet found.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And she always says, I can't say can't. So
Yeah.
I think she's not there yet, but I'll come back to you because at the moment she believes she can do anything. But there certainly is a point where we just go, we stop believing that. I don't know
And
how that happens.
no, I don't actually. I don't know if that is, I don't know if that's peer pressure as well, because as I say, as a parent, that day when she says, I can't do that, mum,
Mm,
you would go, of course you can. You can do
mm.
anything. You've been doing anything for all your life. Why all of a sudden? And so it's really curious that what flicks that switch in the mind to go, "No, I don't think I can."
Mm.
I was talking
Mm.
to Sean from Back to Story last week, and he was on about the Disney film. Oh God, I wrote it down where they've got all the emotions.
It's called something like
Inside
Inside
Out.
Out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Inside
yeah,
Out. He said you've got to watch it because it gives you, you know, an idea into how all these different emotions are kicking in into kids as well. I did start, if Sean's
yeah.
listening, I did start watching it, but then I fell asleep. Yes, I got it.
It is quite fun.
I know. Yeah, but I just find that psyche really interesting. And then, you know, and why other people just, they will never entertain that. You know, it's always, yeah, I can do anything. So what is slightly different in the majority of people to, you know, a minority when it gets to a certain point to go, you know, we can achieve anything.
I guess it's a little bit on the self-belief, isn't it? And about, you know, in if you go in the inside out analogy, which emotion or which
Yeah,
feeling is dominating
yeah.
and
And I
which ones
guess that's the
you try to
environment.
quieten down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a combination of things, isn't it?
Mm.
Your peer group, the environment you're in. But why are people not sort of pushing back against that more to go, yeah, we can do anything. We're humans.
Yeah, I think so, Andy. I think it's also about the feedback you take in from others, the
Yeah,
feedback you're given about how good you are at something or not, and
yeah,
then you start believing that.
yeah,
So
of course.
yeah, there's
So
lots.
that's why I always think it's good to have the right, you know, the right network around you that, you know,
Yeah.
they're constantly saying, we can do anything. And then you've always got, because again, when I was, you know, younger, there was this one guy that was always the pessimist, and I was just never aligned to it really. But then you learn to grow and understand that actually you need someone like that as well to keep the balance. You just need a rounded team to go, well, we can try this, but this might happen, or we can try this and this might happen as well. And it's just getting that, that perspective, that balance, and entertaining all the conversations. Where I think when you're a bit younger, you just want to hear one version of it and go, yeah, I knew that's aligned to me perfectly.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I guess I'd try to surround myself more with people that are the positive side, but sometimes you do need that critical friend as well.
Yeah, you do.
You've got to be ready to hear it.
Yeah. And that's, you've got to be able to accept that, haven't you? And understand it. And then what do you do about it in a positive way? But, I keep thinking, you need all of that. That's part of my journey as well, to go, right, I just need to, accept all of that and use it as I choose to. It's not wrong or right. It's just different.
Yeah, I talk about that a lot. I do 360 feedback with people, and I talk about this sort of iceberg model, which is when people giving you feedback, they're giving it on their repeated interactions with you, and it's sort of above the surface, but they don't really know your values, your feelings, your motivation, what drives you. All they can do is base it on your behavior. So you have to take that feedback in that way. Because it means you just haven't shown them something, or they haven't seen that in you. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not capable of doing it. It's just they haven't spotted that in you.
No. And I suppose that's everyone's challenge as well, to go, well, let's assume that you are capable, and so we get a stretch as well.
Yeah.
Else we just stay in our little comfort space, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
I also asked you another question, what you thought your superpower was.
No, I did.
Say, God.
No, it was a really funny one, because like when you think about superpower, I just thought about what I wanted to do, which was I just want to fly. Like that would be an amazing superpower. But I can't tell you that is my superpower, because I would be down a different career route if that was the case. So I think I spend a lot of time working with people, doing workshops on strength, and talking about do more of what you're good at, because you'll be more energized, more fulfilled, more impactful, happier. And so I talk about this a lot, but then you put me on the spot because you asked me what mine was. So thank you for that. And so because I can't say flying, I've kind of gone with like maybe a shapeshifter. So not an evil one, a friendly one, which means I'm adaptable. So I think adaptability is probably one of my strengths. Which means I'm totally not fazed by change. I can go with the flow, I can adapt, which again, when I'm facilitating, really helps, because if there's a curveball and my whole agenda needs to change, I'm totally fine with it. I don't mind that change. In fact, I quite like the change. So I'm constantly thinking about how to change and do things differently or better.
And is that consistent that you accept, like, so organizational change, people change, thought change, you're quite sort of flexible on all of that?
Yeah, I think I'm quite calm with it. And I like ideas, so I like a good brainstorm. So if something comes like a completely different idea that's completely different direction to where I was thinking of going, I'm okay with it, because I like that challenge to think it through and come up with a new idea. I was going to say I'm calm under pressure, then I realized I'm not, when I'm trying to get my family out of the house on time. Like that kind of pressure I can't do. But kind of if it's a change pressure, as in it's a do something different, new idea, and I need to be adaptable to it, then I'm very relaxed and I enjoy it.
And why is that? So what is it in you that goes, this is fine? Because there's so many people that, would go, that's actually my kryptonite. I cannot deal with change.
I think maybe it goes back to your first question, which was about discovery, answered with, discovery of new things.
Yeah.
Because
curiosity.
Maybe that is that curiosity. So if there's a different way or a better way of doing something, then I'm up for it. That's all good. And I'm kind of quite calm with it. But I don't know why I am like that, and I don't hate it. I think it's because I like new ideas and new things.
Yeah.
So therefore change means, for me, new, exciting, different, rather than scary, daunting. I never think that.
I suppose, and that's how you've connected it as well, and how you live it. Whereas I say, you see so many people that, I mean, my son doesn't like change, really. You can see him over processing everything, we're going to do this, we're going, this has changed for next week, and he's over processing it rather than go, all right, And that,
Yeah.
that's not a criticism. That's just how he processes it, because he wants to, tread the right steps, next to get it right. And I think that then I'm thinking about fear of failure and, what's the worst that can happen, and I always think, well, that's learning, but other people go, no, it's failing and that's going to look really bad.
I ask that question quite a bit in coaching, like what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
And it's never as bad as you think it
we
might be.
catastrophize things.
Yeah, exactly. So it's normally okay. I think the other thing is I don't really enjoy the same routine. So change is good for me. I don't have a very structured schedule in the way that others do. So I think that's probably why I'm okay with change, because it's different and new rather than doing the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
But I know with kids, you talk about your son, I think some kids like that stability.
Yeah, and I've recently had conversations with some, a couple of new parents that just say there's no routine. It's just like whatever happens in that given moment, we have to flex around that. And that's a new thing for them as well, because before that it's been quite structured, but that's come at them really fast and really hard. It's like, okay, this is a new norm then. We haven't got a structure.
You end up being structured around clubs and things like that, but that for me, that's the loose structure.
Yeah. Do you think it also helps the environment that you're in to accept that? Because I'll give you an example that, like, the years that I worked in Compass, I did used to like a structure and I like to be quite organized, but I never felt like I fitted with the culture there, because I was craving new ideas and I could always see different ways, better ways to do things. And in a structured environment, it was like, no, we just do it how we've always done it. And I was always at conflict, not only with myself, but always in the business as well, because it was like, I've got these mad ideas, but they don't fit in with the structured. And then that also conflicts with me, because I just want to change the world. But how am I going to feel like that when I'm on the edge of the changing world?
I think in previous roles it was like you're steering a big ship, so you can't change all the time because it takes time to move it. So when you're working with thousands of people, I think it is harder. So now for me, it's certainly easier because people are coming to me when they want to look at change.
Yeah.
And
so the door's always open.
I've got a blank page and a free kind of remit to help them do that.
Yeah.
And therefore, they're not coming to me to say, everything's going smoothly, everything's fine, and I want you to do a program where everything stays the same. It's actually, I want the team to connect better together, or I want them to think about the future and growth.
And that just leans into your superpower.
I thrive on that because I like the idea and the creation, and I like the idea that something might be different at the end of it.
Yeah.
When you then go back to teams that you've done something with and they're still using it and they are different and they tell you they're different, that's what I love. So I think probably I'm in the right role.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be on a production line doing the same thing every day, because I won't be doing it very well.
No.
Yeah. Hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, I think that's true.
That's good. I've got one more question for you, which relates to the superpower that you'd like to have. So if you could fly, where would you fly to?
Oh, wow. I think I'd probably try a different place every week if I could. It would be a weekend thing, wouldn't it? You'd kind of sit there at the weekend and say, where should we go? Let's go to Africa.
Right, so you're picking everyone up as well and flying them.
I'm sure I could bring people with me, couldn't I? Yeah, I'd be a very strong flyer where I could take people with me. I definitely don't want to do it on my own. That wouldn't be fun for me. I like being with other people. I would just pick a country, explore, and then come back and do another.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so much connection with some of the other conversations I've had as well. Because people were saying, I like the unpredictable and I love to travel. And you go, when you get that together, that's mad then. So if we can add in flying as well.
Get there. No airports. I love that.
Oh, God, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, no security.
I think we're onto something. Can we work on this?
I think so, yeah. How do we... Well, it won't be long, will it, before that's engineered? People can fly. They'll choose that.
It'd be amazing.
I know, we've gone from selecting your gender to actually selecting your superpower.
Yeah, I'm up for the flight. I'd probably want more than one, though. I think you could start with one and then you could add on more, couldn't you?
I think that's a slippery slope. Okay. I think,
I'm only allowed one. Now you've created a rule. I don't like that.
I want to constantly change it. Oh, maybe you could trade it into someone else then. Yeah, that'd be all right.
You do fly in for a few months and then you switch to something else. I think that's okay.
I think before this podcast descends into total chaos, I have thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You made me smile.
That's good. If people want to connect with you or find out more, what's the best way to do that?
Either on LinkedIn, I'm Katie Finch, or on email, katie@gold-finch.co.uk. Probably the best.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been Mindboost Moments. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to hear more, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. And if you want to learn how Mindboost can really add feeling and emotion to learning experiences within your business, check out our website at mindboostlearning.com.